You were 22, you had your first real job, your first real paycheck, and you did what every American does when they finally feel like they've made it. You bought a car, brand new, 0 miles. That smell when you open the door, yours. It felt like the smartest decision you'd ever made. You could afford the monthly payment. You ran the numbers. It made sense. Subscribe, because by the end of this video, we're putting every single dollar on the table. The down payment, the interest, the insurance, the depreciation, the opportunity cost of every payment you made for 60 months. And the total is going to change the way you think about money forever. Most people who buy a new car at 22 don't realize what they actually paid until it's already too late. Not the sticker price, not the monthly payment, the real cost. We tracked 2 guys, same age, in same income, same city. One bought new, one didn't. 5 years later, the gap between them wasn't just money, it was everything. Meet Jake and Cole, both 22. Both living in the same city. It's January 2021. Both pulling in around $42,000 a year, entry level, enough to get by, enough to feel like adults. Jake had been eyeing that car for months. A 2021 Honda Civic, $28,000 out the door. The dealership made it easy. $500 down, $510 a month for 60 months. Financing through the dealer at 7.9% interest. He didn't think about the interest rate, he thought about the payment. $510 felt manageable. That's how dealerships want you to think. Cole needed a car too. He bought a 2017 Civic, same model, 4 years older, $14,000 cash from savings, no monthly payment, no interest, no financing department smiling at him across a desk. Same car, roughly same reliability. One cost twice as much before either of them drove a single mile. But Jake wasn't thinking about that. He was thinking about how it felt pulling out of that lot in 2021. New plates, full tank, that feeling that says you're going somewhere. Cole felt nothing special driving home. Used car, normal day. It's now 2026, 5 years later, and that feeling cost Jake something he still hasn't fully calculated. And we're about to do it for him. January 2021, Jake's first payment hits, $510, clean, automatic. He barely notices it leaving his account, but the dealership didn't just take $510. They took $510 plus interest. In that first payment, roughly $185 went to principal, the rest went to the bank. That's how amortization works. Early payments are mostly interest. You're not paying off your car, you're paying for the privilege of borrowing money to buy your car. By mid-2021, Jake had paid $3,060. His loan balance had dropped by around $850. He also needed full coverage insurance, new car, finance car, lender requires it. In the US, full coverage on a new vehicle for a 22-year-old male averaged around $2,400 a year in 2021. That's $200 a month on top of the $510. Jake is now spending $710 a month on a car. Cole, $0 a month on a loan, around $130 a month on insurance, older car, paid off, liability, plus basic coverage. The gap every single month, $580. That doesn't sound devastating, but this isn't about 1 month. This is about what happens when $580 a month has somewhere better to be, and Jake kept sending it to a car instead. 2022, 1 year in, Jake's car is worth roughly $21,000. He paid $28,000 12 months ago. The moment he drove off that lot in 2021, he lost around $4,000 in value. Just like that, new cars depreciate roughly 20% in the first year, according to data from Edmunds. He still owes $23,000 on a car worth $21,000. Underwater, upside down, owing more than the asset is worth. This is where most people stop doing the math, because the math gets uncomfortable. Cole's car lost value too, but he bought it already depreciated. The steepest drop had already happened to someone else. His $14,000 car by 2022 is worth around $11,000. A $3,000 drop, painful but manageable. Meanwhile, Cole had been putting that $580 difference every single month into a basic S&P 500 index fund since January 2021. Not aggressive, not crypto, just consistent. By end of 2022, Cole had contributed around $13,920. With average market returns based on historical S&P 500 data, his account sits at roughly $15,200. Jake's investment account, nothing. The car took it. Same income, same city, same age. One has $15,200 growing quietly. One has a depreciating asset and a loan balance that barely moved. And it's only the 2022. January 2026, Jake makes his final payment, 60 months, done. He paid $28,000 for the car. He paid roughly $6,100 in interest over the loan term. Total out of pocket just for the car itself, $34,100. Insurance from 2021 to 2026 at an average of $2,200 annually. That's another $11,000. Registration, maintenance, tires, oil changes. The American Automobile Association estimates average ownership costs at around $1,200 a year for maintenance alone. Over 5 years, $6,000. Jake's total cost from 2021 to 2026, roughly $51,100 for a car now worth around $12,000 in 2026. Cole's total cost over the same period, $14,000 purchase, $7,800 in insurance, $5,000 in maintenance, roughly $26,800 for a car now worth around $8,000. The gap in total spending around $24,300. But Cole didn't just save that $24,300. He invested it every month from 2021 to 2026. Cole's S&P 500 account in 2026. After 60 months of consistent contributions at historical average returns, roughly $42,000. Jake's investment account in 2026, still at zero. The car took everything. Same guys, same starting point, same city. One decision made in 2021. A $42,000 gap by 2026. Jake isn't broke. It's 2026, and he has a paid-off car and a lesson that cost him 5 years to learn. But here's what the numbers don't show. At 27 in 2026, Cole had options. $42,000 in investments meant he could take a lower-paying job he actually liked. He could move cities. He could start something. Money in the background gives you the choices that other people simply don't have. Jake, at 27 in 2026, was starting from zero. Not behind, just zero. The car didn't ruin him, but it delayed him by 5 years. And in your 20s, 5 years is not nothing. That's the window where compound interest does its heaviest lifting. According to data from Fidelity, Americans who start investing consistently at 22 versus 27 end up with roughly 40% more at retirement. Same contributions, just 5 years earlier. Jake's real loss wasn't $42,000. It was what that $42,000 becomes at 65. And that number is something nobody wants to say out loud. Let's put everything on the table one final time. Jake, 2021, 2026. Car purchase, $28,000 interest paid, $6,100 insurance, $11,000 maintenance, $6,000 total spent, $51,100. Car value in the 2026, $12,000 investment account, $0. Net position minus $39,100 Cole, 2021 to 2026. Car purchase, $14,000. Insurance, $7,800. Maintenance, $5,000. Total spent $26,800. Car value in 2026, $8,000 investment account, $42,000. Net position plus $23,200. The gap between Jake and Cole in 2026, $62,300. One bought new, one didn't. That's it. No secret strategy, no inheritance, no luck. Just one decision made at 22 in a dealership that still smelled like ambition. Jake drove home feeling like he'd made it. Cole drove home in a used car feeling nothing. 5 years later, the numbers decided who was right.